story begins in a bustling corporate office, where the atmosphere is a mix of energy and stress. Job applications for a highly coveted role have been pouring in, and the hiring manager, Mr. Collins, is seated at his desk with a towering stack of resumes. His reputation as a sharp but overly critical recruiter precedes him. He prides himself on being able to spot talent at a glance, but often judges applicants by their appearance or background. A young woman enters the room clutching a folder containing her resume and credentials. Her clothes are simple and slightly worn, reflecting her modest circumstances. Her eyes, however, radiate determination and quiet confidence. She hesitates for a moment at the door before walking up to Mr. Collins, who barely acknowledges her presence. "Good afternoon," she says politely, handing him her application. Mr. Collins takes it with a cursory glance, his expression quickly shifting to one of mild amusement. He notices her lack of flashy credentials and polished appearance, and immediately dismisses her in his mind. As she turns to leave, Mr. Collins leans toward a colleague and mutters something under his breath, followed by a chuckle. Though she overhears the comment, the woman doesn't react outwardly. She holds her head high, thanks him, and walks out of the room with quiet dignity. Unbeknownst to Mr. Collins, this brief interaction will come back to him in ways he could never have anticipated. Mr. Collins flips open the resume handed to him by the young woman. His eyes scan the page quickly, and almost immediately, he dismisses it as unremarkable. Her educational background is solid, but not prestigious. Her work experience modest, but consistent. For Mr. Collins, accustomed to impressive resumes filled with elite credentials, this one doesn't stand out. He leans back in his chair, a smirk forming on his face. Turning to his colleague seated nearby, he mutters, "This one's aiming a little too high, don't you think? Might as well apply for the cleaning staff while she's at it." The words are spoken just loud enough to be overheard. The woman, standing by the door, catches the remark. A brief flicker of hurt crosses her face, but she quickly composes herself. She doesn't lash out or argue. Instead, she takes a deep breath and says, "Thank you for considering my application. Have a great day." Her tone remains calm, her dignity intact as she walks out of the room. Behind her, Mr. Collins gives an amused chuckle and tosses the resume onto the no pile without a second thought. To him, she's just another underqualified applicant, wasting his time. What Mr. Collins doesn't realize is that this moment is far from the end of their story. His dismissive laughter is about to turn into disbelief and regret in the most unexpected way. Days turn into a week, and the office is abuzz with news of an upcoming high-level board meeting. This isn't just any meeting. It's a rare gathering of key stakeholders, with the company set to introduce influential new members. For Mr. Collins, this is a golden opportunity to showcase his competence. He meticulously reviews his notes, polishes his presentation, and rehearses every detail, eager to leave a lasting impression. On the day of the meeting, the conference room is filled with a sense of anticipation. Executives and senior managers sit around the grand table, chatting quietly as they await the arrival of the new members. Mr. Collins is seated near the middle, his posture confident and his smile practiced. The doors open, and the room falls silent. A senior executive enters, followed by a poised woman in an elegant suit. Her presence commands attention, and her confidence fills the room. Mr. Collins stares, his eyes widening as he realizes who she is, the same woman whose application he had mocked and discarded. The senior executive introduces her as one of the company's new board members and a significant investor. "Please welcome Miss Turner," he says, gesturing to her with a proud smile. Her vision and contributions have already made a remarkable impact. Mr. Collins feels a wave of shock and panic. His confidence wavers as he recalls his dismissive behavior toward her. Meanwhile, Miss Turner greets everyone with a warm smile, her composed demeanor making her entrance all the more powerful. For Mr. Collins, the meeting has only just begun, but he's already feeling out of place. As Miss Turner takes her seat at the boardroom table, Mr. Collins feels his stomach drop. His confident demeanor crumbles, replaced by an overwhelming sense of panic. He tries to focus on the meeting, but his mind is spinning, replaying the moment when he laughed at her resume and dismissed her application without a second thought. He sneaks a glance at her, hoping she won't notice him. To his dismay, her composure is flawless. She sits tall, her confident posture and calm expression radiating authority. The stark contrast between her current presence and his earlier assumptions about her makes his behavior seem even more shameful. As the meeting progresses, Miss Turner speaks with eloquence and clarity. She shares innovative ideas and demonstrates a deep understanding of the company's operations and challenges. Her professionalism earns nods of approval from everyone around the table. Mr. Collins feels a mix of embarrassment and regret. He keeps his eyes fixed on his notes, avoiding her gaze at all costs. Guilt gnaws at him as he realizes how wrong he was to judge her based on her appearance and modest background. The weight of his actions sits heavily on his shoulders. Each time she speaks, it's a reminder of how he underestimated her and how far she has risen above his dismissive judgment. For the first time, Mr. Collins feels truly humbled. He resolves to face the consequences of his actions and learn from this humbling experience. Throughout the board meeting, Miss Turner's wisdom and clarity shine. She presents forward-thinking ideas and discusses strategies that could propel the company to new heights. Her insights are met with nods of agreement and admiration from everyone in the room. Even the most seasoned executives listen intently, impressed by her vision and poise. Mr. Collins sits quietly, feeling more insignificant with each passing moment. Every word she speaks is a reminder of her capabilities and his own poor judgment. When the meeting concludes, applause fills the room as Miss Turner wraps up her presentation. After the meeting, Mr. Collins gathers his papers, eager to slip away unnoticed. But before he can leave, Miss Turner approaches him. His heart races as she greets him with a warm yet knowing smile. "I believe we've met before," she says gently. Her tone is calm, without a hint of resentment. Mr. Collins stammers an apology, his face flushed with shame. Miss Turner interrupts him, not with anger, but with wisdom. "Mr. Collins," she begins, "I understand that first impressions can sometimes lead us astray. But as leaders, we have a responsibility to see beyond the surface. Every person deserves respect, regardless of where they come from or how they appear." Her words are firm but kind, carrying a grace that makes him feel even smaller. She doesn't linger on his mistake, but instead uses it as an opportunity to teach. As she walks away, Mr. Collins is left reflecting on her composure and the lesson she imparted, a lesson he knows will stay with him for the rest of his career. After the meeting, Mr. Collins sits alone at his desk, the bustling office around him fading into the background. He replays the events of the day in his mind, from his dismissive treatment of Miss Turner to her graceful handling of the situation. Her words echo in his ears. Every person deserves respect, regardless of where they come from or how they appear. For the first time, he truly reflects on his behavior. He thinks about how often he's dismissed candidates without giving them a fair chance, simply because they didn't fit his preconceived notions. Miss Turner's story, a journey from being underestimated to becoming a powerful board member, serves as a stark reminder of the flaws in his approach. He makes a silent vow to change. From now on, every resume will receive the consideration it deserves, and every candidate will be treated with dignity. He knows it won't undo the past, but it's a start. News of Miss Turner's rise spreads throughout the company, inspiring employees at all levels. Her journey becomes a symbol of perseverance and the importance of looking beyond appearances. Her leadership style, rooted in grace and fairness, sets a new tone for the organization. The story ends on a hopeful note. Mr. Collins, once a symbol of judgment and arrogance, begins his journey of self-improvement, while Miss Turner's success shines as a beacon of respect and resilience. It's a powerful reminder of how a single interaction, handled with dignity, can transform perspectives and inspire change. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this inspiring story of perseverance, humility, and the power of treating others with respect. If this message touched your heart or gave you something to think about, we'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to our channel to join us for more uplifting stories and life lessons that inspire change and positivity. Like this video if it resonated with you. It really helps us reach more viewers like you. Comment below and share your thoughts. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a moment where respect and perseverance made all the difference? We'd love to know your story. Share this video with friends and family who could use a reminder of how kindness and determination can change the world. Thank you for being part of our community. Your support means everything to us. Let's spread positivity together.